Well, I normally say in most video games that when I'm playing a game like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there are a lot of stuff that's interesting when they reveal new characters or even new maps or anything like that. For instance, for one, when they dropped the mill map, I fucking hated it in every possible manner. When they dropped Nancy House Night, it's actually kind of cool. I think everybody in the community wanted map variants for a long time, and it's not really been like interesting since then. I think map variants should have been a thing in this game, but that's besides the point. So they recently dropped their new killer Hands, and they dropped Maria as their victim recently. And these have been two very interesting characters to play. Hands has a unique playstyle, places these electronic traps, can rip stall an objective and completely counter it and make it kind of useless to really escape from. Has a barge ability only for defensive purposes, even though for me, I keep thinking I'm playing Leland where I can use it offensively. Very strong. It's a useful barge when used correctly. A very short cooldown for misusing it, and overall, the hitbox on it just needs to be improved. Other than that, it's kind of like a mediocre ability sometimes when you're misusing it. So look at it that way. Right now, the real way to counter Hands is if you grab like one fuse or one valve, have him use his ability, then have a second one ready to go to counteract with that, so that way you can make some type of play to escape with it. Now victims are going to have to play, they're going to still rush, but they're only going to rush for the gates, not the actual objective itself. Excuse me. And right now, with the whole freaking thing of having to play right now, it's like he's a very fun character to play. He's just kind of miserable to go against, if that makes sense. Now, obviously, I don't want him nerfed into oblivion where he's no longer played. He's definitely paid to win. I'll tell you that much. I would just, if I was them, I probably would just nerf the cooldown on his ability. I'm sure everyone's still getting used to how he's being played. He's a very strong family member for the most part. Very fun. One thing I do like about him is when you do decide to grapple him, and his grapple cooldown is really short because he's a big dude, taller than Leatherface, but he's grappleable. But he's more of just like a thing where his stun resistance is like a shorter cooldown, which is nice. They should leave that alone. Just fix the hitbox on the barge. But I think the biggest complaint is just his Riptide cooldown. Rip stall cooldown, fuck me. The Rip stall cooldown should be looked into. I think having a 40% cooldown on your ability in your ability tree is kind of over the top. I think maybe even like 10 or 20% would be fair. Or unless you do 10-15%. So that would be probably a fair nerf if you wanted to go down that direction. You can go multiple routes if you wanted to make his character feel a little bit more balanced to play, so it's not like obnoxious, because he just makes Valve and Fuse Box just kind of completely pointless to even go for. So victims are just going to change their way and just basically use the gates. They're going to rush the gates and try to go for them instead, which is kind of like a boring way to play victim. I will tell you what, the victim has been just obnoxious to play now with the skill tree changes for me. I mean, I did like a few changes, like Sunny, for instance. That was a nice change. One thing that was kind of like a little bit odd, they completely like made Anna into more of like a survival ability character. For one, they removed No Cell, they removed Grappler off of her. She just has Choose Fight. But you have to go to the right side of the skill tree, but all those perks are just shit perks that you have to run. So Anna feels... anytime I see Anna in my game and I kill them pretty quick, it's just because they've made her... What's the word? They just made her kind of like more of a proficiency character rather than like a person to grapple. Leland is the only character in the game that has Grappler now, which I'm honestly alright with, because he's a wrestler, sort of like a fighter, sort of. So I would expect him to have that because he's a strong, tough. He's one of the biggest toughness characters in the game, so it makes sense for him to have that. Sunny got some nice changes to that with no cell, getting extra drip, fast hands. I've seen a lot of different Sunny players nowadays. He's been getting played a little bit more now. The only thing they haven't improved on is his base toughness and his base ability by itself. That's something that they need to look into. That's for me. I think they should look into it a little bit more, buff it up a little bit, and give it more love. Maria is a very interesting character to play also. I think she's like her ability itself is an interesting play style. I do feel like it is kind of, like, compared to the rest of the cast, I feel like it's a bit weak in some way because you have to walk up all the way to Grandpa to use it. And I mean, she has basically the same stats as Anna, but when you look at power wise, I just don't think it's like a super strong ability. I would just tweak it up a little bit just to make it more viable in some sense, because not a lot of Maria players will whisper to him all the time, unless that's just a skill issue. But still, I think it just needs to be tuned up a little bit more for its purpose. Obviously Maria is definitely a fun character to play. She has like a cool play style to what you can really do with her. I just think compared to the rest of the cast, it's not that strong for me, in my eyes at least, unless I'm playing her wrong. But usually when I sweet talk Grandpa, it works sometimes. Which it all depends on the team comp, really, unless you have like Hitchhiker who can put down traps obviously on him. I mean, I played Maria like a handful of times, not every single game, because like I'm a Leland main, so I don't really care for escaping when I'm playing him, because I just go for grapples and fight the family off as much as I can until I'm dead. But besides the point, again, I think these two characters have been great additions to the game. Hopefully the gun shifts over to TCM2 content and we could finally get Chop Top into the game. Apparently there's been some leaked voice lines of like Nancy and the family talking to Chop Top. Because I think they're done with Maria's story, because it wraps everything up, everything's full circle. I don't think they need to add any more characters from whatever they're going to do with the game. Me personally, I would wrap this up and then move to the 80s, add Chop Top, add any other victim they can, or a new group of victims or something. I don't know, but that's what I would do. Because I think, for the longest time, Maria has been a character that everyone wants to know if she died or survived, and she's alive. I think canon-wise, I think everyone dies except Maria, unless everyone really all is dead and she still dies anyway, because we all thought she died in Petals, so it doesn't matter to me. I think they just need to shift their focus on potentially TCM2. If no, we got some voice lines of Nancy talking to Chop Top or whatever. Apparently there's been a new group of victims that Maria was speaking to or something like that. Apparently people want Jessie to be the next victim or something, or Sunny's girlfriend probably. I don't see that happening, but unless they decide to do that as their final I guess like characters for that specific storyline for before the events of TCM1, that's also fine. Or they could add the movie characters, which people have really been wanting for the longest time. That's something that they could do if they wanted to. That would be great in some way. Like, I would wrap it up with just the film characters and then just move on from that and then jump right into TCM2, get that chili cook outfit from the barbecue event from that one scene, and that'd be great. I know they said it's hard for them to get the movie rights, but if we're seeing leaked voice lines of like Nancy or any of the family members talking to Chop Top, then yeah, that definitely indicates that they probably did get the rights to the second film, and they're definitely going to add Chop Top as soon as possible. They did tease him a couple of times. They said because Bill Moseley was at gun headquarters, And you know that they've been talking about this character. They said if he was coming to the game, then he would be not a hitchhiker skin, but a new family member. So that's what they teased. But they've been dropping hints of him for the longest time. So it only makes sense for them to do it. But we only know so much because it's Gunn. Hopefully they quote unquote cook something up. But again, they just need to tweak up some few things, and they should be fine for the longest run. But we don't know until then. But overall, I think this DLC was pretty good. Just need to tweak some couple things, but other than that, it's a perfectly fun patch. But I'm gonna head off, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Expect more videos soon, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. And as always, stay groovy.